Introducing your field for the Hillsdale Handicap. Number 1 is Cardell with jockey Chris Lamance, owned by Alan E. Paulson, Ronald McAnally, and Mike Erkovich are the trainers. Number 2 is Days Surpass with jockey Antonio Diaz, owned by Takatani and Takatani. Clifford De Lima is the trainer. Number 4 is Traveling Victor with jockey Chris Loseth, owned by R.J. Bennett. R.J. Anderson is the trainer. Number 5 is Jason's Drummer with jockey Joe Steiner, owned by Donald W. Marr. W.A. Finley is the trainer. Number 6 is Charging Falls with jockey Brian Long, owned by John Franks. Jack Vanberg is the trainer. Number 7 is Ocean View with jockey Marco Castaneda, owned by Cardiff Stud Farm. Ronald McAnally and Mike Erkovich are the trainers. Number 8 is Mark It All with jockey Thomas Chapman, owned by G&N Thoroughbreds. Larry Ross is the trainer. Number 9 is Holy Rascal with jockey Carlos Delgadillo, owned and trained by Bud Clockstead. Number 10 is Don't Reject Me with jockey Jeffrey W. Mills, owned by Merlich, Roberts, and Robert. Charlie Friday is the trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the Hillsdale Handicap. The flag is up. Waiting on number 5, Jason's Drummer. The flag is up. And there they go. Charging Falls for the lead on the inside. Days Surpass comes away second, followed by Traveling Victor in third on the rail. Cardell is fourth. And on the outside, that's Ocean View in the fifth. Down on the inside, Jason's Drummer, coming back to Mark It All. And on the outside, Don't Reject Me. They lead the opening quarter with Days Surpassed in front now by half length. Charging Falls is second by a length. On the outside, Holy Rascal is third by half length. Cardell is fourth by a head. Traveling Victor is fifth by 2 lengths. Then Ocean View by 3. Mark It All, followed by Jason's Drummer, and the last horse is Don't Reject Me. Turning into the stretch, Days Surpassed by a head alongside Charging Falls, challenging for the lead in second by 3. That's Holy Rascal third. In deep stretch, Charging Falls now takes command. Down on the inside, Days Surpassed is second. Holy Rascal third, and Traveling Victor. Charging Falls drawing out by 5 lengths. Days Surpassed is second. Charging Falls in front. The order of finish is now posted on the totalized leaderboard. Kindly retain all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official. Handicap, the very lovely Debbie Busick and her friend Harold Nathan. Now into the winner's circle is number 6, Charging Falls, with jockey Brian Long. Charging Falls was bred in Kentucky and is owned by John Franks. Jack Van Berg is the trainer. The running time was 1:09.2. Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exacta wagering. Introducing your field, number 1 is Fager's Charm with jockey Paul Niccolo, owned by Robert H. Walter. Arthur and Steve Sherman are the trainers. Number 2 is My Native Princess with jockey Chris Lamance, owned by Parker Place Thoroughbreds. LeVar Larson is the trainer. Number 3 is Amanda's Affair with jockey Russell Bays, owned by RGM Stable Incorporated. Arthur and Steve Sherman are the trainers. Number 4 is Make Me an Offer with jockey Brian Long, owned by John R. Franks. Jack Van Berg is the trainer. Number 5 is Total Woman with jockey Marco Castaneda, owned by Stone Reef Farm in Lucas. D. Wayne Lucas and Barry Knight are the trainers. Number 6 is Traipsin Lady with jockey Carlos Delgadillo, owned by Shadow Lawn Farm. Dan Caton is the trainer. Number 7 is Quack's Darlin with jockey Roberto Gonzalez, owned by Gaywendale Farm. David Chase and Elvin Adams are the trainers. Number 8 is Lenita with jockey Steve Archuleta, owned by Mandy's Land Farm. Dan Caton is the trainer. Number 9 is Distant Doll with Ron Warren, owned by Kathy Johnson. Lonnie Arterburn and Roger Pfeiffer are the trainers. At number 10 is Keflaka with jockey Thomas Chapman, owned by Port and Smith. John Gosden and Alan Severinsen are the trainers. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the Woodside Handicap. The flag is up. There they go. Moving up from the inside, Fager's Charm for the lead. That's Quack's Darling coming away second. Lenita is third. On the outside, Distant Doll is fourth. Followed to the inside by My Native Princess in fifth. Then in between horses, that's Total Woman. Down on the inside, that's Make Me an Offer. Coming back to Traipsin' Lady. Keep Flack on the outside. Far back is Amanda's Affair. They're on the clubhouse turn into the backstretch. Fager's Charm a length and a half. Quack's Darling is second on the outside by a neck. That's Distant Doll in third. 3/4 of a length. Lenita is fourth by another length. Then My Native Prince is in fifth by 1 length. Down on the rail, Make Me an Offer. Traipsin' Lady comes on. Followed to the outside by Total Woman. Keep Flackin'. Far back, Amanda's Affair. They continue down the backstretch. Fager's Charm continues to lead. 3/4 of a length. Distant Doll is second by a half length. Moving up on the outside, Quack's Darling to third. By 2 lengths, Lenita is fourth. On the inside, Make Me an Offer is fifth. Underway, My Native Prince is on the outside by 2. Then it's Traipsin' Lady, Total Woman, Keep Flacka, and Amanda's Affair. Turning into the stretch, Distant Doll now comes up, takes command by a length and a half. Down on the inside, Fager's Charm is second. Middle of the track, Make Me an Offer third. In deep stretch, Distant Doll a neck, challenging Make Me an Offer on the outside. Make Me an Offer now takes command. Distant Doll is running second. That's Total Woman. Far outside, Amanda's Affair. Make Me an Offer in front. The first and second horses now appear on the totalized leaderboard. The photo sign is up for the show. Kindly hold all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official. Ladies and gentlemen, in the winner's circle, presenting a beautiful bouquet of flowers along with a trophy to the winning owner of the third running of the Woodside Handicap is the former Irish ambassador, Mr. Robert F. Kane, and his lovely wife, their residing. Third with 3, Amanda's Affair fourth. Now into the winner's circle is number 4, Make Me an Offer, with jockey Brian Long. Make Me an Offer was bred in California and is owned by John R. Franks, Jack Van Berg, and John Lindier III are the trainers. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a back-to-back stakes of victory for the combination of Brian Long, John Franks, the owner, and Jack Vanberg, the trainer. They won with Charging Falls in our Hillsdale Handicap yesterday. Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exacta wagering. Introducing your field, number 2 is Nakak with jockey Ron Warren, owned by R.C. Brinker. Charles and Albert Foster are the trainers. 3 is Bare Minimum with jockey Frank Olivares, owned by E.A. Seltzer. Bobby Frankel is the trainer. 5 will be Wise Strategy with Antonio Diaz, owned by the Meadow View and Ventura. Michael C. Whittingham is the trainer. Number 8 is Emperador Al Norte with Martin Pedroza, owned by the Sassoon Stable. Steve Ipatello is the trainer. 9 is Positions Best, Roberto Gonzalez, owned by Delaney and Utley. Doug Utley is the trainer. Number 10, Dunant, Thomas Chapman, owned by Joe Lawrence. Olin and Joan Battles are the trainers. And 11 is Gallon Polak, Steve Archuleta, owned by Michael DeRossi, Gary Ackerman, the trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the San Francisco Handicap. All in the gate. And there they go. Positions Best from the outside for the lead. Gallant Polex comes away second. Dunan is third. Then on the inside, Nakak is fourth. Bare Minimum is fifth. Emperador Al Norte in the last horse. As they move into the clubhouse turn is Wise Strategy. On the latest, Positions Best by 3/4 of a length. Dunan is second on the outside by a length and a half. Down on the inside, Nakak is third. Bare Minimum is fourth. Then it's Emperador Al Norte in fifth on the outside. The last two, Gallant Polex and Wise Strategy. They continue down the backstretch. From the outside, Dunant now has the lead by a head. Positions Best is second by a length and a half. Bare Minimum is third by 3/4 of a length. Emperador Al Norte is fourth. Nakak at the rail is fifth. And it's Wise Strategy and Gallant Polex. They race into the upper turn and on the lead. That's from the inside. They move to the top of the stretch with Dunan in front by a head on the outside. A Bare Minimum is coming on second by 2. That's a Nakak in third as they approach the top of the stretch. Turning into the stretch, a Bare Minimum has the lead on the outside. Wise Strategy is closing rapidly in second. Dunan is third. They're in deep stretch from the inside. Bare Minimum keeps the lead. On the outside, Wise Strategy is second. Dunan is third, and Nakak on the lead to Bare Minimum by 5. Wise Strategy is second. Nakak is third. That's a Bare Minimum in front. Ladies and gentlemen, in the winner's circle, presenting a beautiful bouquet of flowers along with a trophy to the winning owner of the San Francisco Handicap is Mr. Herb Kane of the San Francisco Chronicle. Also, he is accompanied by the very lovely Mary Callanan, the treasurer of the city and county of San Francisco. Now into the winner's circle comes number 3, Bear Minimum with jockey Frankel Olivares. Owned by E.A. Seltzer, Bobby Frankel is the trainer. The running time was 1:37 flat. Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exact wagering. Scratch number 2, Wardour Street. Introducing your field. Number 1 is Sanger Chief. Chris Lamance aboard, owned by D. Morani and Pellegrino. Bobby Martin is the trainer. 2 is Carrie Jill Haja. Brian Long aboard, owned by the Haji Farm. Monty and Kathy Jackson are the trainers. Number 3, Don Askra with jockey Paul Niccolo, owned by Vern H. Winchell Jr. Greg Gilchrist is the trainer. Number 4 is Country Model with Ron Warren aboard, owned by Hatley, Klein, and Lucas. D. Wayne Lucas and Barry Knight are the trainers. 5 is Night Swope with Steve Archuleta, owned by Perry or Eunice Cotton. Perry Cotton is the trainer. Number 6 is Ta'er is Equine with Antonio Diaz, owned by Frank and Jay Mitchell. William J. Morey Jr. is the trainer. And number 8 is The Fittest with Vicky Aragon, owned by My Howard. C.L. Jack Utley is the trainer. The flag is up. There they go. Don Askra for the lead. On the outside, The Fittest moving up to take command. Don Askra is second. To Ares Equine is third. That's Country Model in fourth down on the rail. Sanger Chief is fifth. Then Night Swope. And the last horse is Carrie Jill Haja. They race past the opening quarter with Don Askra in front by a half length. Country Model is moving up second. The Fittest on the outside is third by 2 lengths. To Ares Equine fourth. And to the outside, Sanger Chief is fifth. Coming on is Carrie Jill Haja and Night Swope as they approach the top of the stretch. Down on the inside, Don Askra by a head on the outside. To Ares Equine is challenging in second. Moving up on the outside comes Sanger Chief and Carrie Jill Haja. Turning into the stretch to Ares Equine has the lead by 1 length. Down on the inside, Don Askra is challenging again second. Out between horses, Carrie Jill Haja third. In deep stretch to Ares Equine. On the outside, Don Askra. Down on the inside, Carrie Jill Haja. And here they are. It is a photo finish. Can I retain all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official? Now into the winner's circle is number 6 to Ares Equine with Antonio Diaz. Won by Frank and J. Mitchell, William J. Morey Jr., the trainer. Now into the winner's circle is number 1, Sanger Chief, with jockey Chris Lemans, owned by D. Morani and Pellegrino. Bobby Martin, the trainer. The running time, 1:11 flat.
Kind of a wide open affair, it looks like, doesn't it? Yeah.
Introducing your field of 1A, Oh How Right, Roberto Gonzalez in the saddle, owned and trained by Doug Utley. 1B, I Walk Alone, Marco Castaneda, by the Diamond Stable. Doug Utley is the trainer. 2 is Crystal Showers, Brian Long in the saddle. Owned by Kurt or Lila Lanning, Arthur and Steve Sherman are the trainers. 3 is She's Airy, with jockey Chris Hummel, owned by Calipar, White and Wong. S.L. Johnson, the trainer. 4 is Witchery, with jockey Russell Pays, owned by Kerr and Kerr Sr. Albert Christensen, the trainer. 5 is Mia Ride, Antonio Diaz, owned by Dimmitt and Nemi. Bob Hess is the trainer. Number 6 is Apple Royale, with jockey Dario Lazoya, owned by Dante and Dante. Skip Rutherford, the trainer. Number 7 is Win a Jackpot, Ray Seville, owned by Buckley and Franklin. Mary Rowan, the trainer. Number 8 is Jolly Jatain, Thomas Chapman, owned by Bachman and Coster. Robert King, the trainer. 9, La Wonder, Chris Lemans aboard, owned by Pete Orvai Eubler. Bobby Martin, the trainer. Number 10 is Silent Arrival, Luis Ortega, owned by Coelho, Fields, and Valente. Melvin, Stute, and Fordell Fierce, the trainers. 11 is Polly's Little Rascal, Wesley Ward aboard, owned by the Bow Wow Stable, Jerry Fanning, the trainer. And 12 is Miami Lou, Bill Wendland in the saddle, owned by the Sugar Tomlin Stable, Charlie Comiskey, Jr., the trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the Courtship Stakes. Up. And there they go. Moving up from the inside, that's a Witchy for the lead. Alongside, when a Jackpot is second, then it comes I Walk Alone. They continue down the backstretch, and on the outside, that's Silent Arrival in front by a half length. I Walk Alone is second, then on the outside, Polly's Little Rascal is third. Followed to the outside by Apple Royal in fourth. Coming on the outside, La Wonder is fifth. Back down to the inside, and that's Shizeri. They advance on the upper turn to the top of the stretch. Polly's Little Rascal takes over the lead by 3/4 of a length. Silent Arrival is second by 3/4. Then on the outside, La Wonder is third. Turning into the stretch, and Polly's Little Rascal in front, down on the inside. That's Silent Arrival taking command. They're in deep stretch, and Silent Arrival has the lead by 3 lengths. On the outside, La Wonder is second. Driving to the outside, Witchery is third. That's Silent Arrival in front. The order of finish is now posted on the totalized leaderboard. Kindly retain all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official. Ladies and gentlemen, in the winner's circle, presenting a beautiful bouquet of flowers along with a trophy to the winning owners of the Courtship Stakes is Richard Lewis, along with the very lovely Renelle Heller.
Yeah, but I let her 7-1 too. Yeah, that was Doug. Doug went through the form and said, I like the maiden.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I heard you guys say something about, well, the maiden had her shocking. What the hell? You guys don't be talking about either Fido.
Got a fixed chance as anybody.
I think I'm going to be
Right off the top of your head.
Now into the winner's circle is number 10, Silent Arrival, with jockey Luis Ortega. Owned by Coelho, Fields, and Valenti. Melvin, Stute, and Fordale Fierce are the trainers. The running time, 1:12-2.
Yeah, good. I hope that's going.
Believe it if you didn't.
Yeah.
Shooting and falling.
Somebody come on. Yeah. Right off the top of your head.
Well, I think I'm going to be. Yeah. I don't know why we didn't. First, I thought we were going to make it. I
Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exacta wagering. It's on the Longdon Turf Course. Introducing your field. Number 1 is Something Gorgeous with jockey Chris Loseth, owned by the Universal Stable. Dwayne Lucas and Barry Knight are the trainers. Number 2 is Minutes Away with Chris Hummel aboard, owned by Harry J. Aleo. Greg Gilchrist is the trainer. Number 3 is Lucky and Green with jockey Russell Bays, owned by Mary Ellen West. Ted West and Pat Licklider are the trainers. Number 4 is Kingsbury with jockey Chris Lamance, owned by Getty, Phillips, and Reardon. John Gosnin and Alan Severinson are the trainers. Number 5 is Herrat with jockey Marco Castaneda, owned by John R. Franks. Jack Van Berg and John Lindy are the trainers. Number 6 is Bedside Promise with jockey Ron Warren, owned by Sohan Estall. Bobby Martin is the trainer. 7 is Charming Duke with jockey Fernando Toro, owned by the Greenhorn Stable. Jean-Pierre Dubé is the trainer. Number 8 is Perfect Travel with jockey A.L. Diaz, owned by Sam Matar. Fordell Fierce is the trainer. 9 is E.J. Jr. with jockey Stephen Archuleta, owned by R.B. Black. Bob Hess is the trainer. And number 10 is Publicity with jockey Luis Ortega, owned by Edmund Agan. Bobby Frankel is the trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the Bay Meadows Derby. Up. Here they come. Minutes Away for the lead, moving up in the middle of the track. Herrat is second, Bedside Promise is third. In at the rail, that's Something Gorgeous in fourth, followed to the inside by Lucky and Green in fifth. And on the outside, that's E.J. Jr. coming back to Kingsbury. Then Perfect Travel, Charming Duke, and Publicity the trailer. They're into the clubhouse turn and Minutes Away in front by a length and a half. Herrat on the outside is second by a half length in at the rail. Something Gorgeous is third. Lucky and Green is fourth by 3 lengths. Then Bedside Promise on the outside, coming back to Kingsbury by 2. And it's E.J. Jr., Perfect Travel, Charming Duke, and Publicity of the trailer. They continue down the backstretch, and Minutes Away continues to lead by a length and a half. Lucky and Green is second by a half length. Herrat is third on the outside by 3. Bedside Promise is fourth. In at the rail, Something Gorgeous. They race into the upper turn and Minutes Away by 2 lengths. That's Lucky and Green in second by a length and a half. Herrat is third. Bedside Promise comes on fourth. Down on the inside, Something Gorgeous is fifth. On the move on the outside is Charming Duke as they approach the top of the stretch. Minutes Away, drawing a clear by about 10 lengths. Down on the inside, Lucky and Green is second. On the outside, Charming Duke third. In deep stretch, Minutes Away, well on the lead. On the outside, Charming Duke coming on for second. Lucky and Green is third. It's all Minutes Away in front. The first and second horses are now posted on the totalized leaderboard. The photo sign is up for the show. Kindly retain all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official. And ladies and gentlemen, in the winner's circle, presenting a beautiful trophy and bouquet of flowers to the winning owner of the Bay Meadows Derby is the very charming Sylvia Ralston, accompanied by Mr. Bud Wharton. Photo shows number 3, Lucky and Green, finished 3rd with number 6, Bedside Promise, 4th. And now into the winner's circle comes number 2, Minutes Away, with jockey Chris Hummel. Minutes Away was bred in Washington, is owned by Harry J. Aleo. Greg Gilchrist is the trainer. The running time was 1:51 2. Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exact wagering. Handicap, $40,000 at it at 1 mile. Introducing your field, number 1 is Madamascus with jockey Chris Lemans, owned by Earl and Lillian G. Horn. Richard Mandel and Jim Hilling are the trainers. 2 is Make Me an Offer, Brian Long aboard, owned by John R. Franks. Jack Van Berg and John Lindier is the trainers. Number 3 is Greenstone, Roberto Gonzalez in the saddle, owned by Dale and Gail Chase. David Chase and Elvin Adams are the trainers. 4 is Barbie Karen, Russell Bayes aboard, owned by the Bean Barn. That's Robert A. Bean. Robert A. Bean is the trainer. Number 5 is Mills Whisper, Chad Schwaneveld aboard, owned by Abbott and Van Berger. Phil Schwaneveld is the trainer. 6 is Banner Rose, Joe Giudice in the saddle, owned by Philip Sims. Jerry Dutton is the trainer. 7 is Bam's Golden Eagle, Chris Loseth in the saddle, owned by Hancock and Martino. Jim Benedict is the trainer. Number 8 is Miss Aggie Lou, John Court in the saddle, owned by Lonnie Bates. B.H. Hitt is the trainer. 9 is Total Woman, Marco Castaneda in the saddle, owned by the Stone Wreath Farm in Lucas. Dean Wayne Lucas and Barry Knight are the trainers. And number 11 is Baku, Danny Winnick aboard, owned by Harry Mason. Den Caton is the trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, your horses for the Miss Universe Handicap. All in the gate. And there they go. From the rail, Madamascus for the lead. That's Barbie Karen coming away second. Mills Whisper on the outside is third. And it's Bam's Golden Eagle in fourth, followed by Miss Aggie Lou in fifth. Down on the inside is Make Me an Offer. Coming back to the inside, Banner Rose. Then it's Total Woman, followed by Greenstone and Baku. We're on the clubhouse turn into the backstretch. Madamascus by a length and a half on the outside. That's Barbie Karen in second by 2 lengths. Make Me an Offer is third by 3/4 of a length. Banner Rose is fourth. Mel's Whisper is 5th. Miss Aguilou on the outside by 2. Bam's a Golden Eagle coming back to Total Woman, the last 2 Green Stone, and Baku. They continue down the backstretch, leaving the half mile. Madamascus a length and a half. That's a Barbie Karen in second. By 1 length, Make Me an Offer moves up third. By 2 lengths, a Total Woman is underway rapidly on the outside. They advance to the top of the stretch. Madamascus by 2 lengths. Make Me an Offer is second. By a length and a half, Total Woman is third. Barbie Karen is fourth. Miss Aguilou turning into the stretch. Madamascus keeping the lead. By 1 length on the outside, coming on, Make Me an Offer. Then Total Woman in deep stretch. Make Me an Offer takes command out the middle of the track. By 2 lengths, Madamascus is second on the rail. Total Woman is third. Make Me an Offer in front. The order of finish is now posted on the totalized leaderboard. Can retain all mutual tickets until the result has been declared official. The Miss Universe Handicap is Keith and Joanne Wiley from Ephrata, Washington. Also Maxine Coleman of San Francisco. And now into the winner's circle is number 2, Make Me an Offer, with jockey Brian Long, owned by John R. Franks. Jack Van Berg and John Lindier is the trainer. The running time was 1:37 and 4. Result is official. In the 9th race, we have $5 exacta wagering.